We're so happy to present you with the first Beth Dalton Memorial Literacy Leadership Award. It's very special for all the amazing work you are doing for your students and for your school community. And we're anxious to hear from you as well. But before we do that, Rick?
Thank you. I'd just like to say, I'll just speak it extemporaneously here. You know, that the word I would define today, if someone said, what did you think of that conference? I would say the word passion jumps to my mind. And I have been so moved by the speakers today. And we are founded by a company, Achieve 3000, by a woman whose passion is to have every student be able to read at their ability level, whether they're a struggling reader or extend the gifted learner. And as I read the bio about Lauren, I was so impressed with some of the things she does. I know that one of the challenges you really want to face head on is equity, and the whole issue of equity and allowing all students access to literacy, which is Achieve's mission as well. And I noticed this was funny because Leslie reached out and asked if we would sponsor. And some of you know we are in the Laco schools. What I didn't know is that the school from which your winner would appear actually uses Achieve 3000. So, and then I remember we met 3 years ago when I remember trying to find my way into your school because you have a combination thing and you have to beep and put numbers in. I remember that in Inglewood. So there's lots of serendipity, but I want to just say to all of you, we are passionate about literacy, and I just salute the good work that all of you do. I recently heard Dr. Tyrone Howard at the Laco office talk about culture and race and education, and I salute what you said, Beth, about really moving past that and allowing all students to believe that they can learn. So on behalf of Achieve 3000, and given the holidays upon us, I'd like to present to you, Lauren, and you may just slide off this. This is an official collector item. It's one that you won't find anywhere out there. In other words, it is, if you unfold it, an Achieve 3000 bag. Now, we all know that teachers don't get honored enough, nor do they get paid enough. So when you unzip this at home and reach inside that, you're going to find a $500 gift card courtesy of Achieve 3000.
Now we get to hear from Lauren.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you guys. Hello, everybody. I know all the dresses. How's everybody doing? All right, so first off, thank you to the organizers of this event, especially Leslie, who has been so kind and encouraging during this process. Thank you to the family of Beth Dalton, and it was so lovely to meet you today and hear about her story. It's really an honor to be receiving this today, and I'm so inspired by the words that you spoke about her, so thank you. Thank you to my teammate, Olivia, who is truly the most amazing person to plan with. Much of what my principal just described in my class is the product of Olivia and I working together. And I couldn't imagine doing what I do without her. Teachers in the room understand the feeling when you're paired up with someone who has a similar teaching philosophy as you, and Olivia is definitely that person for me. For example, we both believe in the power of dressing up funny and making general fools of ourselves in front of middle schoolers, as evidenced by our t-shirts today. Finally, thank you to my principal, Beth, who's been the greatest supporter of me as a teacher and the most amazing person to work for. I couldn't believe that she took the time to nominate me for this without me knowing and write such an amazing application for this. Unfortunately, it's rare to be acknowledged in the teaching profession. Teachers can often feel isolated, wondering if what they are doing is making a difference. And I feel really blessed to work with someone like Beth who cares about recognizing and showcasing the work of teachers. So it's not every day I get the privilege to speak in front of a room of 150 people. So I'm going to take this opportunity to say a few things about my journey as a teacher and some of the things I believe in. And by the way, this is for my class dojo teachers in the room. Anybody? Yeah. I, despite being a teacher, am secretly terrible at public speaking, but I also believe in the power of yet. So I'm not a great public speaker yet. 4 years ago, I was 4 years into the profession, working at a school that left me feeling burnt out and discouraged. I was going to quit, find something else to do. I think I seriously floated around the idea of becoming a hula hoop teacher for kids for a while. Still haven't crossed that out. Then I got an email from Beth, and all that changed. I instantly felt invigorated at ECMS, which was full of enthusiastic, positive people that really cared about kids and teaching. I've learned so much from teaching there, but I think one of the most important lessons I've learned is that the energy you put into something is the energy you will receive back. So I realized that I wanted readers that were engaged in literacy, that were excited learners, but I really wasn't bringing that kind of magic to my reading instruction. So over summer, I read this book called Disruptive Thinking. Has anybody seen this before? You should check it out if you haven't. By Kylene Beers and Robert Prost. So I'm going to leave you today with something from this book that had a profound impact on me. In the first few pages, they talk about interviewing kids and asking them questions about what they think about reading and what they like to read. So here's one of the interviews from a first grader. Why do you think your teacher is teaching you to read? Because the whole world could read. Do you have a favorite book? This book has no pictures. I love that book. It's so funny. And now a third grader. Why do you think your teacher is teaching you to read? You have to learn to read so you can read. Do you have a favorite book? I love Bunnicula. My mom reads it to me. But it's a home book. I can't read it at school because I'm not that level. Have you read it? It's so funny. And a fourth grader, same question. We read so we can find the evidence. Evidence for what? I don't know, like when a teacher asks you the question, you have to find the evidence. Do you like to read? I did when I was little. Now it's all about, do you know your reading level? And can you show me the evidence? Last one, an eighth grader. Do you know why your teacher is talking to you about improving your reading skills? I have no idea. No idea? Well, maybe so our Lexile can go up and we can pass the test. Now, I understand that in our data-driven system that we are all trying our best to navigate. It's tough to not get caught up in scores and evidence and Lexiles. I certainly struggle with that myself. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have measures of our effectiveness as literacy teachers, but there has to be more to it. Reading should be exciting, it should be personal. Does it really matter how high a kid's Lexile is if they hate reading? Instead of just obsessing over those scores that our kids get on tests, maybe we could focus on finding titles that they really want to read. Books that they will carry around with them at recess, for example. Books that they will connect to and that they will feel inspired by. Maybe we could focus on getting them to talk about what they are reading to each other, to have vigorous debates about characters and plot twists and cliffhangers. Maybe we could focus on getting them to develop their own preferences as a reader, to figure out what genres and authors they absolutely love. And finally, maybe we could focus on combating the low self-esteem that many of our students have in regards to reading, often which comes from getting labeled as a poor reader with low reading scores. It's a privilege to be here today with so many people who care about helping students find that personal love of reading that we know is so important. The sessions I've been to today and the speakers I have heard have been really inspiring, and I'm so honored by this award. Thank you so much. Woo!